everybody, and welcome back to SFF180. It is Monday morning, July the 6th, and time once again for the mailbag. I hope you guys have had a good week and a good weekend. It's been rainy, thunderstorms like crazy, but pretty good weather for kicking back and reading, I must say. Well, I think this might be the first time in quite a while that I've had a mailbag 1 week after the next. I don't know for sure if this is going to signal a complete return to normalcy just yet, but it's a good sign anyway. And pretty exciting because I have not only 12 e-arcs, I believe it's 12, maybe 10. Well, we'll find out. But I have, I think, something like 5 physical packages this week. That's exciting. So, I suppose without any further ado, because I have nothing in the way of announcements, let's get into it and see what these books are. So I'm going to start with the physicals, and we're going to start out with 2 of these white envelopes that I have. Usually indicates a tour title. And we're getting off to a good start this week with The Relentless Moon by Mary Robinette Kowal. This is the 3rd book in the Lady Astronaut series. I've actually already gotten this, so, a few months ago. I've had a copy of this, and I have read it as well as The Faded Sky. So you will be getting reviews of both of them, I'm going to say this coming week, hopefully by the weekend at the very latest. But this comes out July the 14th. And it says, while the calculating stars and the faded sky follow Dr. Elma York to Mars, the Relentless Moon turns to the challenges of establishing a colony on the moon. It follows a new main character, Nicole Worgan, former WASP astronaut and wife of the governor of Kansas, as she deals with a bomb, an exploding rocket, Earth-first terrorists, and every possible catastrophe that could befall a lonely colony far away on the moon. So yeah, like I said, out on the 14th of July from Tor Books. Very exciting. The Relentless Moon by Mary Robinette Kowal. Okay, interesting. And the next of the white envelopes this week was not actually a Tor title. It was this. In from Saga Press. This is the finished copy in hardcover of the new horror novel by Stephen Graham Jones, a Native American writer. This is called The Only Good Indians. And this actually has already come out. It's been out since May the 19th, apparently, in hardcover from Saga Press. And I have also read this, and I have a Stephen Graham Jones review video in the pipeline, so look out for that. But it says, fans of Jordan Peele and Tommy Orange will love The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. Jones's psychological horror is a cutting social commentary on identity politics and the American Indian experience, mixed with moments of hope and survival. In the book, Jones explores fraught questions about cultural traditions and the cost one pays for breaking them. The Only Good Indians follows the lives of 4 American Indian men and their families, all haunted by a disturbing, deadly event that took place in their youth. Years later, they find themselves tracked by an entity bent on revenge, totally helpless as the culture and traditions they left behind catch up to them in a violent and vengeful way. Indeed. So, The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones, available now in hardcover from Saga Press. And I am absolutely thrilled to pieces to see this, because this is a book I've been waiting for a very long time. It's been pushed back, but this is Persephone Station. The new book by Stina Light. Full disclosure, Stina is a very dear friend of mine, has been for many years. And I said, this comes out from Saga Press on January the 5th. And Saga describes it as a take on space opera for fans of The Mandalorian and Cowboy Bebop. Stina has described it as a gender-swapped Magnificent Seven in space. So maybe that's the reference to look out for. I mean, I love Cowboy Bebop, but yeah. Anyway, it goes like this. Persephone Station, a seemingly backwater planet that has largely been ignored by the United Republic of Worlds, becomes the focus for the Soreo Orlov Corporation, as the planet has a few secrets the corporation tenaciously wants to exploit. Rosie, owner of Monk's Bar in the corporate town of West Brenner, see, that's a Easter egg little reference there. So anyway, Rosie caters to wannabe criminals and rich earther tourists of a sort at the front bar. However, exactly 2 types of people drink at Monk's back bar, members of a rather exclusive criminal class and those who sought to employ them. Angel, ex-Marine and head of a semi-organized band of beneficent criminals, wayward assassins, and washed-up mercenaries with a penchant for doing the honorable thing, is asked to perform a job for Rosie. What this job reveals will affect Persephone and put Angel and her squad up against an army. Despite the odds, they are rearing for a fight with the Soreo Orlov Corporation. For Angel, she knows that once honor is lost, there is no regaining it. That doesn't mean she can't damned well try. Astounding and Crawford Award-nominated author and podcaster Stina Light has created a viciously feminist sci-fi thriller. And yeah, this will be available in January. I know it's a long time to wait, but I got one early because, you know, friend of mine and all that. But yeah, I'm planning on reviewing it, and then maybe I'll be like towards the end of the year doing an interview with Stina and stuff like that. So very excited. Congratulations, Stina. And yeah, Persephone Station. All right, and this next one is a box from Blackstone Publishing. Well, here's a series that just keeps on trucking on. This is the 7th Helldivers novel by Nicholas Sansbury Smith. It's called Warriors, and yeah, it's all silver and shiny. Anyway, it's post-apocalyptic science fiction, and there have been 7 of them. So anyway, yeah, I guess it has that kind of a following. It says, from New York Times bestselling author Nicholas Sansbury Smith comes the 7th installment in the thrilling Helldivers post-apocalyptic science fiction series. Let's see. To save the vanguard of humanity, the Helldivers must take the fight to their enemies. While the Helldivers cross an ocean to battle the machines, an old flesh-and-blood threat returns to the islands. The mission to Rio de Janeiro ended in victory, but it came at a dire cost, killing most of those who set out to rescue the stranded survivors. Even worse, the Skinwalkers' leader, Horn, escaped with his demonic crew and is coming to take the throne. And it sort of goes on like that. So you get the idea. It's that kind of, you know, action-adventure type of post-apocalyptic stuff. You can tell with the kind of power armor guy on the cover and all that. The idea is that I think these people, you know, the survivors are living like way up in the sky on airships or something, and the surface of the Earth is deadly for a great many reasons. But it doesn't stop them having fights, apparently. So, Helldivers 7 will be available from Blackstone Publishing on July the 14th. And the last of the physical packages is this little thing here from a company called Air and Nothingness Press. Now, I discovered them, I'm going to say about 3 years ago in Pittsburgh when I was at the Nebula Conference and when it was in Pittsburgh for those 2 years. And this is an imprint that is based in Pittsburgh. And they do these really lovely sort of little boutique paperbacks. And they've sent me what feels like a few things. So let's check it out and see what's in here. Okay, you see what I mean here. They're these like small paperback editions, but very beautifully put together. You know, they have these gatefold sleeves with art on the interior, and this really nice high paper quality. Kind of spendy for what they are, but small press imprints like this, you tend to get very low print runs and very high quality. So, maybe these books might be like $15, $20 or something, but they're very much worth the investment. Now, this right here, what they've sent me, is a trilogy of anthologies. The first one, I've actually already got this one, but I guess they sent me another one. This is called Nevermore Earth, and the second one is called Never Was Earth, and finally we wrap up with Never Is Earth. Okay, and I think the theme here, it says, well, I'll just, on the back of Nevermore Earth, it says, in the tradition of Jack Vance, Gene Wolfe, William Hope Hodgson, and M. John Harrison, Nevermore Earth presents a new dying Earth genre stories where super science mixes with fantasy in the final years of a future Earth. From authors like L.R. Ambrose, P.J. Lee Clark, Sarah Daly, Jamie Lackey, and Colin O'Boyle. Now on, let's see, Never Was Earth, it says, the concept of Earth as a spherical shell containing a habitable inner surface is a potent blend of its dual origins in religion and earthly scientific speculation. Never Was Earth assembles a group of Hollow Earth genre stories, where adventures in the inner world can be perilous propositions, from authors Samantha L. Barrett, Jonathan L. Howard, Jamie Lackey, Maeve Stoltz, and Amy Treadwell. And finally, wrapping up with Never Is Earth, it says pseudoscience meets the fantastic in Never Is Earth, a collection of adventurous flat Earth genre stories. Curious Tales of an Earth with an Edge, from authors L.R. Ambrose, Sarah Daly, Jamie Lackey, and Dan Thurot. Okay, so this little trilogy of alternate Earth-themed stories. and they are available from Air and Nothingness Press, and I encourage you all to look these folks up because they do very good work. Okay, that is it for the physical copies. Now we're going to move into the e-arcs. There's a variety of stuff here, both YA and adult, so we're just going to go through them as I've got them listed here. And the first of these is a YA. It's called A Golden Fury. It's by Samantha Coho, and it comes out October the 13th. And it goes like this. In her debut novel, A Golden Fury, Samantha Coho weaves a story of magic and danger where the curse of the Philosopher's Stone will haunt you long after the final page. Thea Hope longs to be an alchemist out of the shadow of her famous mother. The two of them are close to creating the legendary Philosopher's Stone, whose properties include immortality and can turn any metal into gold. But just when the promise of the stone's riches is in their grasp, Thea's mother destroys the stone in a sudden fit of violent madness. Good one, Mom. While combing through their mother's notes, Thea learns that there's a curse on the stone that causes anyone who tries to make it to lose their sanity. Oh, well, okay. With the threat of a revolution looming, Thea is sent to live with the father, who doesn't know she exists. But there are alchemists after the stone who don't believe Thea's warning about the curse. Instead, they'll stop at nothing to steal Thea's knowledge of how to create the stone. But Thea can only run for so long, and soon she will have to choose. Create the stone and sacrifice her sanity, or let the people she loves die. Right, and as I said, that will be out October the 13th. But this next one is already out. This is a book by Alma Alexander. It's called The Second Star. And this one came out on July the 1st. Apparently the 1st. July the 1st. Suffering Thuckatath. From an independent publisher. And it looks like a space opera. Sounds pretty cool. The Parada had been lost for almost 200 years before they recovered the ship, drifting in Stygian interstellar darkness, and brought her home again. But that was not the miracle. The miracle was that the crew was still alive. That was also the problem. 6 crew members went out on the Parada, Earth's first starship. All contact was lost, and the ship vanished for almost 2 centuries. When the Parada's successor found the drifting ship and somehow managed to bring it home, the 6 crew members were not only still alive, but barely older, due to the time dilation effects of near FTL travel. Their return was a miracle, but it could not be revealed to the waiting world. The problem was 6 individuals went out to the star. More than 70 fractured personalities came back. Psychologist Stella Froude and Jesuit Father Philip Carter were recruited as part of the team assembled to investigate the mystery, and to try and help the Parada's crew understand their condition and possibly, reverse it. What they discovered was a deepening mystery, and very soon they found themselves forced to take sides in a conflict that nobody could have possibly predicted. Their world would never be the same again. Okay, so this sounds really, really kind of dark and interesting. Right? And it's available now, The Second Star by Alma Alexander. All right. And next up, we are back to YA with, I think, what is going to be a very high-profile title, and this is The Silvered Serpens by Roshani Chokshi. This comes out September the 22nd. It is the sequel to The Gilded Wolves. It's a very popular book by Roshani Chokshi. And this one says, Severin and his team members might have successfully thwarted the fallen house, but victory came at a terrible cost, one that still haunts all of them. Desperate to make amends, Severin pursues a dangerous lead to find a long-lost artifact rumored to grant its possessor the power of God. Their hunt lures them far from Paris and into the icy heart of Russia, where crystalline ice animals stalk forgotten mansions. Broken goddesses carry deadly secrets, and a string of unsolved murders makes the crew question whether an ancient myth is a myth after all. As hidden secrets come to the light, and ghosts of the past catch up to them, the crew will discover new dimensions of themselves. But what they find out may lead them down paths they never imagined. A tale of love and betrayal as the crew risks their lives for one last job. All right, now understand that, The Gilded Wolves was really quite a popular book among YA fans. I have a copy of it somewhere, so maybe I'll check these out. But The Silvered Serpens, as I said, by Roshani Chokshi, comes out September 22nd. All right. Moving up a bit, here is one that is an adult thriller. The author is Chris Mooney, and it's called Blood World. And it comes out August the 18th. And it says, everything changed when scientists discovered the drug. It looked like the cure for aging, but all progress comes with a price tag. Now eternal youthfulness will be paid for by the blood of the innocent. The blood of carriers is the most valuable commodity on Earth. When treated with a new wonder drug, it cures disease, increases power, and makes the recipient a virtual Superman. It also makes the carriers targets. Young people with the right genes are ripped from their families and stashed in blood farms. Ellie Batista became an LAPD officer specifically to fight this evil as a member of the Blood Squad. But her ambitions are thwarted until the day she and her partner are ambushed during a routine stop. The resulting events plunge her into an undercover world more dangerous than she could have ever imagined. Because a madman has found a way to increase the potency of the blood to levels previously unimagined. As he cuts a bloody swath through the already deadly world of blood cartels, Ellie is the only hope to stop him before the body count explodes. Okay, so, you have blood basically being like the drug of choice that is being fought over and trafficked and all of that in this future. But Blood World by Chris Mooney, available August the 18th. All right, so let's see what's next. What's next is, back to a YA. This is a book called Goblin King. The author is Cara Barbieri. And this is the sequel to a book that came out last year called White Stag, apparently. It's the second book in the Permafrost series, and it says, Yannicka must now find how far she's willing to go to save her world from destruction, even if it means sacrificing everything she's fought for. Okay, that sounds like, the basic task of a put-upon YA hero. It says, the hunt is over, but the war has just begun. Against all odds, Yannicka has survived the hunt for the stag, but all good things come with a cost. Lydian might be dead, but he took the stag with him. This is all just spoilery as hell. I'm sorry, guys. So, Yannicka now holds the mantle, while Soren, now her equal in every way, has become the new Earl King. Yannicka's powers as the new stag has brought along haunting visions of a world thrown into chaos, and the ghost of Lydian taunts her with the riddles he spoke of when he was alive. When Yannicka discovers the truth of Lydian and his madness, she's forced to see her tormentor in a different light for the first time. The world they know is dying, and Lydian may have been the only person with the key to saving it. Okay, so if you read White Stag and you're a big fan, then you'll be happy to know Goblin King will be available on November the 3rd. Okay, next up we have something interesting. These folks kind of swept through social media last week, and everybody was like, wow, what is this? I need to get this. But this is an anthology coming out August the 17th called Dominion. It's from an independent publishing company called Aurelia Leo. And the editors are Zelda Knight and Ekpeki Ogenechowwe Donald. And it says Dominion is the first anthology of speculative fiction and poetry by Africans and the African diaspora. An old god rises up each fall to test his subjects. Once an old woman's pet, a robot sent to mine an asteroid faces an existential crisis. A magician and his son time travel to Ngoni country and try to change the course of history. A dead child returns to haunt his grieving mother with terrifying consequences. Candace, an ambitious middle manager, is handed a project that will force her to confront the ethical ramifications of her company's latest project, the monetization of human memory. Osupa, a newborn village in pre-colonial Yorubaland, populated by refugees of war, is recovering after a great storm when a young man and woman are struck by lightning, causing 3 priests to divine the coming intrusion of a titanic object from beyond the sky. A magician teams up with a disgruntled civil servant to find his missing wand. A taboo error in a black market trade brings a man face to face with his deceased father, literally. The death of a king sets off a chain of events that ensnare a trickster, an insane killing machine, and a princess, threatening to upend their post-apocalyptic world. Africa is caught in the tug-of-war between 2 warring Chinas, and for Ibrahim, torn between the lashings of his soul and the pain of the world around him, what will emerge? When the goddess of vengeance locates the souls of her stolen believers, she comes to a Midwestern town with a terrible past, seeking the darkest reparations. And in a post-apocalyptic world devastated by nuclear war, survivors gather in Ife-Iyuko, the spiritual capital of the ancient Oyo Empire, where they are altered in fantastic ways by its magic and power. Okay, so this is a massive anthology filled with a bunch of new talent, and it looks like really, really amazingly cool all the way through. But this will be out, Dominion, available August the 17th. Wow. Okay, now next up, let's have something a little bit lighthearted, shall we? Guess what? Yeah, it's Kikis Delivery Service, the novel by Eiko Kodono. Now, those of you, everybody is aware of the movie, I'm pretty sure. But what a lot of you probably, well, some of you probably don't know. I'm sure fans know this very well. But Kiki's Delivery Service was based on, I think, a whole series of novels in Japan. I think there's something like 6 or 8 of them. And there has been an English translation of the first one before, but this is a brand new English translation. It says, Random House Children's Books is excited to release a brand new translation of the Japanese children's novel that started it all, written by Eiko Kodono and translated by Emily Balistrieri. Kiki's Delivery Service tells the enchanting story of half-witch Kiki as she follows the witch tradition of choosing a new town to call home for 1 year after turning 13. A series of adventures follow as Kiki learns to help others and grows into a young woman, her ever-faithful, wisecracking black cat Gigi at her side all the while. And this is coming out tomorrow from Random House Children's Books, Kiki's Delivery Service. You can read the original at last in a new translation. That's just really, really cute. Okay. Now, getting close to the end here, just 2 more to go. And this next one is an upcoming epic fantasy debut that is now like being really, the hype train is starting to go about this one. I tend to be very cautious about super hyped epic fantasy debuts because, every year it seems like there's a couple, and every once in a while you'll get one that lives up to the hype, and then you'll get one that's like, well, that was okay, and then you'll get one that really disappoints, and so you just, you can't really control that. I always say ignore the hype and just check the book out and see what you think for yourself, right? That's what I do. But this is a book called The Bone Shard Daughter, and it's by Andrea Stewart. It comes out September the 8th from Orbit. And it says, introducing a major new voice in epic fantasy. In an empire controlled by bone shard magic, Lyn, the former heir to the Emperor, will fight to reclaim her magic and her place on the throne. The Emperor's reign has lasted for decades, his mastery of bone shard magic powering the animal-like constructs that maintain law and order. But now his rule is failing, and revolution is sweeping across the Empire's many islands. Lyn is the Emperor's daughter and spends her days trapped in a palace of locked doors and dark secrets. When her father refuses to recognize her as heir to the throne, she vows to prove her worth by mastering the forbidden art of bone shard magic. Yet such power carries a great cost, of course, and when the revolution reaches the gates of the palace, Lyn must decide how far she's willing to go to claim her birthright and save her people. So there you are, The Bone Shard Daughter, and it will be out, as I said, September the 8th from Orbit Books. And finally, we're going to wrap up with the last YA of the week. This is one that's just come out. It's already out as of June the 30th, and it's True Life by Jay Kristoff. And this is, I think, the culmination of his lifelike trilogy, YA trilogy. It says, best friends have become enemies, lovers have become strangers, and deciding whose side you're on could be the difference between life and death. For Eve and Lemon, discovering the truth about themselves and each other was too much for their friendship to take. But with the country on the brink of a new world war, this time between the biomass swarm at City Hive and Daedalus' army at Megapolis, not Megalopolis, it's just Megapolis, loyalties will be pushed to the brink. Unlikely alliances will form, and with them betrayals. But the threat doesn't stop there, because the lifelikes are determined to access the program that will set every robot free. A task requiring both Eve and Anna, the girl she was created to replace. In the end, violent clashes and her heartbreaking choices reveal the true heroes, and they may not be who you think they are. All right, then. So, fans of Jay Kristoff, fans of that trilogy, True Life, is now out in hardcover. Okay, note to self, make sure I have a bottle of water in here when I do those long readings, because, man, I was getting parched on that one. But that's it. That's all we got for the mailbag this week. You guys know the drill. Light up those comments. Let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you, and which you would like to see me prioritize for review. Otherwise, if you enjoyed watching, please hit that like button. Share the video far and wide with all of your SFF rating friends, and above all, please subscribe if you have not done so. That is how the channel grows. You can also support the channel at my TeePublic store and at my Patreon, where recruits into Wink's Army For $2 a month, get little perks, like getting to see some of my videos early. If I finish them early enough, if I'm not up editing until 4 a.m. My scheduling quarantine has been really, really bad that way, and I'm sorry about that. But anyway, I do want to thank all of those lovely folks for their added support, especially during these tough times. If you've been able to stick around, it's been very much appreciated, because it's a big help. I want to thank all the rest of you for being the very best viewers in all of BookTube, and until I see all of you next time, stay safe and happy reading.